This is Dr. Megan, the Prednisone Pharmacist, and I often share side effect information about prednisone, and it may seem like doom and gloom, and that's all I have to share. But today I wanted to share the story of Jorgen, who has taken prednisolone, which is nearly the same thing as prednisone, for several years and has had a wonderful experience. And so I wanted to balance out all the doom and gloom with some great news about what a miracle prednisone truly is. Prednisone is truly a miracle, and it's a balance between the miracle that it is, it saved my life, and the possible side effects. And so I've made lots of videos about the side effects. So let's hear some great news about the miracle that prednisone is. So Jorgen says, I read your emails and your lists, and I don't think they reflect my situation at all and do not cover the situation as I have. I have therefore described my situation below, and it is part of my medication list describing all my prescribed medicines and my experience of taking them. He said I was feel free to use them because he is someone who's basically only had good experience with prednisolone over many years. So he said he very first took prednisolone in October of 2016 when he was diagnosed with proximal myopathy. Then that diagnosis was followed by polymyalgia rheumatica. I have a lot of people with polymyalgia rheumatica who watch these videos, and so I wanted to give you a great news story for you. His GP, which means in America, primary care physician, prescribed panacordolone 25 milligrams per day. So panacordolone is the brand name for prednisolone, which is just like what we use in America called prednisone. And he took 25 milligrams per day to take for this condition until it disappeared, which took a few days. Then to reduce the intake very slowly to eventually reach zero intake. However, when I then reached an intake of 3 milligrams per day, the polymyalgia rheumatica came back. So I took 15 milligrams of panacordolone for a few days until it disappeared. Then after, I reduced the intake of panacordolone to 3 milligrams per day as the time before. And when he reached that point, the polymyalgia rheumatica came back again, and he treated it the same way by going back up to 15. When the PMR, which is what polymyalgia rheumatica stands for, again disappeared, I was now aware that it was an active condition and dormant in my body, which could flare up anytime. So I have since taken 5 milligrams of panacordolone every day. So he takes essentially the equivalent of 5 milligrams of prednisone every day as a precaution, well knowing that my GP would prefer me to be on zero intake. I am aware of the slight difference between panacordolone and prednisolone and that it suppresses my native immune system and stops my body from producing cortisol. But panacordolone is a short-acting glucocorticoid which suppresses the HPA or hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis for 1.5 days after a single oral dose, and it is fully eliminated from my body around 11 to 16.5 hours. I understand that the physiologic dose is 5 milligrams, which is the amount of the drug that is roughly equivalent to the amount of the similar substance normally produced within my body. This dosage is typically used to replace the endogenous substance when my body is no longer able to produce the substance. I also understand that if my yearly intake is panacordolone 5 milligrams per day or less, it will still allow my native immune system to recover. After the cases of PMR, the panacordolone was, with a lesser intake, used to reduce inflammation in various places in my body and coughing. So not just the PMR, but he also got bonus. Other inflammation and coughing things went down. Good news. My own desired intake for some years now has been a maintenance intake of panacordolone 5 milligrams per day, which seems perfect for me. There has been a remarkable difference in my continuous overall well-being in me taking the 5 milligram panacordolone early each morning, and then taking much less, say just 3 milligrams or worse, nothing. In a research event, I could stop taking the panacordolone to see what happens if absolutely need be, like in an official trial. A couple of times in 2022 and beginning of 2023, I began experiencing starting cases of PMR. And since I now know the feeling when it comes, I immediately take 15 milligrams panacordolone for 3 days, and it stops the PMR each time and straight away. The side effects of the intake of panacordolone tablets. I've not really felt any side effect, and the known increase in weight and blood sugar level by taking this medication, I cope with by taking also other medications. So he takes other medications for the blood sugars. I keep in mind that the higher the intake, the higher would be the unwanted increase in blood sugar level. Also, the higher the intake, the higher would be the unwanted increase also in weight. But I stay with 5 milligrams per day. If I increase the prednisolone intake to more than 5 milligrams each morning, I easily get nightmares at night. But that is not a big concern when I continue with just the 5 milligrams per day. I experience no known other side effect with the intake of this tablet. So I really appreciate him taking the time to write this all out for us so that I could share it with you so that you could hear the living experience of someone who has been on prednisone for more than 7 years. And he understands what it feels like to be on high doses, to have to deal with the side effects, and found a happy dose for him where his disease is at bay and he's getting the minimum side effects possible. And that's my goal for all of you, to get on the lowest effective dose for your condition, whatever it is, whether it's PMR or some other form of arthritis, or for me, it was my immune system attacking my platelets. So there are lots of reasons people take prednisone, but whatever it is, getting to the lowest effective dose possible is the best. And then if you're wanting to know other ways to get that best balance of benefits and risks, to get the most happy benefit from taking prednisone by decreasing the side effects in the best way you possibly can, you should download my prednisone checklist. On it, I have the top side effects of prednisone and what you can do to counteract them. I'm Dr. Megan, your prednisone pharmacist, signing off.